Today they face a Newcastle side ravaged by injury, no fewer than 8 first-team players out of action. These are the two teams then. Phil Beale comes in at number 2 in place of Ray Evans, and it's a first game for a 17-year-old Scot from Morton, Neil McNabb. So many changes for Newcastle, but they also have someone making his first appearance in the league, 21-year-old goalkeeper Tony Bell. But first, young Neil McNabb of Spurs. Is he nervous about the afternoon to come?
I look forward to playing alongside players like Martin Chivers. Players like that, it's always good to play alongside them because, you get a lot of help and that, I just hope I don't let the side down.
And then there's Frank Clark, skipper of weakened Newcastle United.
We've got an epidemic of injuries. We've got 1 or 2 lads in who haven't played this season at all, and a young goalkeeper, of course, making his debut. He's been at the club a long time, and he's waited a long time for his chance, so now he's got the chance to show what he can do.
The referee today is Arthur Jones from Ormskirk in Lancashire, and the crowd is 23,000, including in the front row there, Billy Nicholson, former manager of Spurs, sitting next to the Spurs chairman. Spurs kick off then, attacking an unorthodox way there, the way they 3 of them went straight at that Newcastle defence, attacking the goal to our right. Here's young Neil McNabb on the ball for them. Spurs in the white shirts and black shorts. Newcastle today in a change strip of a rather faded yellow and light blue shorts. So for those of you watching in black and white, Spurs with perhaps the whiter looking shirts and certainly the darker shorts. But now there's Bruce making a good pass there towards Malcolm McDonald, and Mike England across there for Tottenham. Spurs, who were beaten at Leeds in midweek by 2-1. Duncan laying that off nicely there for Peters and now for Chivers. Their first defeat in 9 games as coach takes it up for them. Here's John Duncan, who passed a fitness test just before the game. Knowles under a lot of pressure there from Mickey Burns, but getting in his shot in the first touch of the ball in the first division for Newcastle's goalkeeper Tony Bell, 21. Now Nattrass. Pat Howard. And England nodding that down for McNabb. Showed too much of that to Kennedy though, and here's Nattrass again for Newcastle. Played inside again for Kennedy, and it'll come for Nattrass again. Lawton. McDonald is hard after it, but Jennings had timed that so well. Now it's Beale. Chivers trying to come off Howard. Beale again. And a throw again to Tottenham, and Chivers is on hand to take it. Peters trying to jockey for a yard or so in there and almost getting it. It'll come for Coates, turning it in again towards Martin Peters, and Howard giving away the corner. So a corner to Tottenham, which Beale will take. Martin Chivers and Martin Peters in that, well, Martin Peters in fact right on the line, Chivers just outside the 6-yard area, and Beale then with the corner for Tottenham, with just under 5 minutes gone. A deep one towards Mike England, got his head to it nicely, Peters turning it, oh, and a beautiful save by Tony Bell. First real time that he's been called into action, and he did supremely well there to push that shot from Peters around the corner. Now can McDonald come on this one, and indeed can Cannell as well. There's his shot into the side netting from Paul Cannell. Scored 3 times this season and did so against Chelsea in that 5-0 win up at St James's Park. Naylor and England. Duncan. Peters ahead of him, and Coates, a beautiful run by Coates, but what a pass from Duncan across the face of that goal, and again Lawton had to turn it behind and gets applause from his teammates for doing so. A lovely pass from Duncan though, and Coates really bounding after it. Good cross. And another corner for Tottenham. Knowles again will take it. England again has come up. Wanting a deep one, says Peters, and it'll fall for Martin Peters. Chivers. And Kennedy it was who got that away to Cannell. Gibb. Kennedy. Bruce. Inside for Malcolm McDonald. Gibb again with the pass to Mickey Burns. And a curling shot, which in fact didn't quite curl enough. Mickey Burns, formerly with Blackpool, he cost £170,000 when he went to Newcastle. Nattrass, MacDonald. Nattrass again. Kennedy trying to find a way past Naylor. He's got Burns in the middle if he can get this crossover. Beale is right there. Beautiful defence by Philip Beale. The odds were very much on Philip Beale putting into his own net there. A lovely cross. And Beale timed his interception so well. Good defence by him. Duncan. Perryman to Coates. Two Newcastle players are after him. Burns and Clark, and it's Burns. England's header. Gibb. Cannell. Off Coates, so it's a Newcastle throw. Frank Clark. Peters. Clark again. Gibb and MacDonald. Oh, he rounded Beale beautifully there. Well, more in hope than anything else. Well, sitting in the director's box next to the chairman there, Billy Nicholson in the front row. I'm wondering what he thinks of a rather inept Spurs performance so far. But now it's Knowles. Just past the half-hour mark, and it's on for McNabb. Neatly getting past Bruce, but the ball going fractionally out of play. So the crowd looking for some excuse to applaud him. Knowles. Oh, and is that going to go in? No, just over. Almost the nearest we've had to a goal, and Tony Bell explaining to Frank Clark, and it was the number 5, Dennis Lawton, who very nearly put through his own net with that header. So it's a corner for Tottenham. Short for Knowles. And hit in by Knowles, and well taken. Well, what an extraordinary goal. What an extraordinary goal. The goalkeeper threw it in his own net. His first game in the Football League, 21-year-old Tony Bell, his first appearance, and he took that ball so well as Knowles shot it, took it cleanly and threw it in his own net. Own goal by the goalkeeper. Spurs 1, Newcastle 0. Well, it was the shot by Knowles, but it has to go down as an own goal to Tony Bell. Well, what a tragic mistake for a fella playing his first game in the Football League. Now it's Coates for Tottenham. Now for McNabb. And another corner for Tottenham. And more pressure now for Tony Bell. So what's Tony Bell going to do about this one? The fellow under a lot of pressure again after making that one mistake there. And he needing now more than ever to dominate that 6-yard area, as Coates will swing another corner in for Tottenham. Nattrass heading it away. Knowles going in quickly and fairly. Newcastle's throw. Spurs then take it up again. Knowles. Coates backing up. And here's the cross coming over, but Clark has plenty of chance to get that away, but only as far as Beale. There's a deflection. Chivers is in there, and that's number 2, Martin Chivers. 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes, and Spurs are 2 in front. A cruel deflection there for Newcastle, and the ball fell for Chivers, catching the goalkeeper in no man's land. 2-0 for Tottenham. Now Clark for Newcastle, the skipper who's got to rally his men. England. Unless McDonald can find a blast or two. Canal. And a corner now for Newcastle. And the crowd behind that Tottenham goal, as you can see. Really delighted with the way that's gone in the last 3 or 4 minutes for Tottenham. But here's Clark now for Newcastle. Played on for Mickey Burns. Crossed in again. Oh, and that could so easily have gone there from the number 5, Dennis Lawton. So a corner then for Newcastle. It must have come off a Tottenham defender. Clark. Played for Burns again, curling another one in there. Perriman it was, or rather Duncan. Duncan who nodded that one away. So another corner for Newcastle. Would badly need a goal to pull themselves back into this game now. And they won't get it that way because again young John Duncan was there. Good bit of running there by Mickey Burns, but Jennings should have this one. Linesman flagging on the far side for a foul by Howard on Duncan as they jump for that ball. It's a free kick to Spurs. Coates behind it. It seemed to me that the offence took place quite so far across there as that, but that's where the free kick is coming from. About 21 yards out. Knowles going to have a dip. Yes, he is, and it's in the net. Cyril Knowles. 3-0. Bell is beaten again. As Knowles hit that free kick around the wall. Bell could only have seen it in the last and couldn't react quickly enough. Tottenham 3, Newcastle 0. Three times poor Tony Bell, playing his first game in the Football League, has been beaten in the space of some 6 minutes. Canal, free kick, handball by Perriman. Kennedy with the free kick, and Canal's on the far side. Did well to get in there. Now Coates. Spurs at the moment in full cry. Chivers right up ahead of him. Still Coates going on, and Tottenham's throw. Chivers going across to take a long one to cause more problems for Newcastle United. So Chivers with a long throw, Duncan making a run and taking defenders with him, England falling over, and it was MacDonald who got that one away. So a throw to Newcastle. Mickey Burns. Towards MacDonald. That looked like handball by England. That had to be handball by Mike England. Well, Newcastle are astonished at that decision there. They felt that was worth a penalty. Perriman diving in from midfield. MacDonald. Towards Paul Cannell. Jennings. The last seconds of the first half now. Terry Naylor. And now Mike England. McNabb. Now Beale. As the whistle goes for half-time, it took a long time to go right for Spurs, and in the end it did with those 3 goals. And one young man who really has enjoyed his first game in the Football League, Neil McNabb, and one who certainly hasn't is 21-year-old Tony Bell playing his first game in goal. An own goal by him set Spurs on the way. Chivers added a second one, and Cyril Knowles the third, with a game that really has sprung to life. And a half-time score here at White Hart Lane that reads Spurs 3, Newcastle United 0. We'll be right back with the second half. A massive task now facing Newcastle United as they kick off, attacking the goal to our right. 3 goals down. Newcastle, as I said at the start, wearing the slightly lighter shorts. Now it's Beale for Tottenham. Well, Coates took that nicely in his stride, couldn't quite keep it in. So it'll be a throw to Newcastle. Clark. Well, there's a nice little chance coming up maybe for Cannell. He's got MacDonald up there with him. Still with Cannell. Trying to get it for Burns. It'll come for Cannell again. That time he does get his shot in, and what a good one! A beautiful goal, and it's disallowed. Disallowed. There was an offside decision presumably there. The linesman on the far side is flagging, and the referee, Arthur Jones, has taken his word for it. In spite of the protests of Newcastle United, Cannell hit that shot superbly, but the flag was already up, and it'll count for nothing. Chivers coming away from Nattrass now to take up the ball for Tottenham. McNabb. Big change of direction always this fella McNabb has got. Knowles playing that on nicely for Coates. Done it beautifully there, Coates. This is Coates now, and that almost was put in by Duncan, and it's a corner. No, it's a goal kick. England beaten in the air by Cannell, and now Malcolm MacDonald for Newcastle, almost getting through. Jennings really flung himself at that situation, but the referee has given Newcastle nothing there. Instead of that, it's Peters now, sending Beale away on the far side. There's the cross! How did he miss that one? Beale planting it wide again for Ralph Coates. Nodded back beautifully there by Coates for Knowles. Coates again. Free kick to Tottenham. On the far side, Alfie Conn. Looks as though he might get on for Tottenham at last. Having been brought from Scotland in the summer. And is it Chivers? It's Chivers who's going off. Well, the crowd are pleased about that. They're cheering that fact. Chivers for so long. A great hero, really, at White Hart Lane. And he's going straight off to the dressing rooms. So Chivers is off. And Alfie Conn comes on. Duncan. Back for Coates. Again, Knowles has gone past him, and this time the ball has gone onto that left foot of Knowles. A good-looking cross. Duncan down! Oh, what a brilliant save, though! A lovely cross from Knowles on that favourite left foot of his. Duncan rising so beautifully at the far post, and what a good save by Tony Bell. Knowles in a bit of trouble. In fact, down by the corner flag. Must have had a collision as he got that ball over. But here comes the corner now for Tottenham. England going in hard on it. It'll come now for Cyril Knowles. Hit first time. And in fact, it's a beautiful pass. Straight to Alfie Conn, who's offside. And Cyril Knowles will tell you that he meant that pass to go there. Free kick to Newcastle. Burns. Clark will turn it in again. Burns and McDonald, it'll fall for Mickey Burns, and a good save that time from Jennings. How on earth did Jennings get that one? With McDonald and with Burns there making a nuisance of themselves to that Spurs defence. It fell for Burns, a little poke from him, and it looked as though it was going to be a goal. Marvellous reflexes by Jennings. Now it's with Nattrass for Newcastle. The last seconds of the game. Kennedy. Newcastle really have tightened up a fair bit in this second half. Burns on the far side. So a corner to Newcastle, which Burns will take. The last seconds, because the referee is looking at his watch now, checking with both linesmen that the time is up. So corner comes in, a back header by Tommy Gibb, Duncan getting it away. Kennedy hopeful of turning it back, and in fact turned it back and just a couple of inches wide. And the final whistle goes. Jennings in fact has injured himself against that post, skidding across there. Malcolm McDonald and Cyril Knowles coming to see just how badly hurt he is. Not too serious, it seems. Certainly a bad result for Newcastle, with all the reserves in their side. Well beaten in the end by Spurs, although Newcastle tightened up a lot in the second half. So as Pat Jennings goes away, the goals by Bell, an own goal, although I'm sure Cyril Knowles will want to claim it. Martin Chivers, and then from Cyril Knowles with the free kick. And a final scoreline at White Hart Lane. Spurs 3, Newcastle 0.